you all for coming out today and making the time to make an informed decision this primary. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I moved here to Woodstock a little over 3 years ago, but I've been coming here for the last 10 years with my husband, whose family has been in the area for 25 years. My father-in-law is a local artist. I got married in the Xena cornfield, and I went to the Woodstock Clerk's office to have my marriage certificate signed. In the pandemic, my husband and I decided to set roots here, and we now have a son who is in nursery school. Shortly after settling down here, in an effort to get involved and find a community, I joined the Housing Committee. And my work there has really focused on making sure the work that we do and our information is clear and accessible through organizing community events, delivering presentations, sending e-newsletters, posting on social media, and curating digital resources. I have a master's in business, and currently I work on technology modernization projects for federal government clients who run resource websites. So I work closely with web development teams, I usher people through transitions, and I train them on new technical systems. Before that, I worked in technology, making education accessible online through a variety of digital media formats. But I got my start in the arts, where I ran a music nonprofit, and I took over 10 years of spreadsheets and made a database myself to track donations and ticket sales. And I led a revamp of their website, which included adding online sales. Working on a town committee has exposed me to some of the inner workings of our local government, and I see that I have a set of skills from my professional experience that could help our town run better. So tonight, I hope to show you how the clerk really is a pivotal player in how this town operates. And I want to convey the importance of the clerk's office in our government and share with you my many plans for expanding this office to better serve its residents.
Thank you. Ms. Reimondo.
Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the Woodstock Democratic Committee for hosting tonight's forum, to Christine for moderating, and to my fellow candidates, and all of the community members who have taken the time here to be here with us this evening. Participating in events like this one are one of the many ways we strengthen our democracy, and I appreciate everyone who is here to listen, learn, and make informed choices about the future of our town. My name is Meghann. I lived in Woodstock for 19 years, along with my husband, Mike, and my 2 children, Mira and Max. Since September 8th of last year, I have had the privilege of serving as your first deputy clerk, and following the retirement of our former town clerk, Jackie Early, on October 31st, I have been assigned all the responsibilities of the town clerk. Over that time, I have gained invaluable hands-on experience serving the residents of Woodstock and managing the daily operations of the office. Every day, I help residents navigate government services, access records, respond to FOIA requests, support town board meetings, and work through both routine and important moments in Woodstockers' lives. Those experiences have reinforced what I have always believed. Local government works best when it's accessible, responsive, transparent, and centered on the people it serves. Since stepping into this role, I have focused on listening to residents, identifying opportunities for improvement, and strengthening the systems that support our community. Whether it is improving communication, exploring more convenient ways for residents to access services, fostering stronger collaboration between departments, or simply making sure someone feels heard when they walk through the door, my goal has remained the same: to make local government work for the people of Woodstock. I believe that when departments work together with mutual respect and shared commitment to services, it creates a more positive workplace culture and ultimately leads to better outcomes for our residents. I love this community, and I love clerk work, and I would be honored to continue serving as your town clerk.
Thank you. Ms. Reimondo, you're up for the first question, okay? Okay, the question: what inspired you to seek this office, and is there anything specific that particularly motivated you to run?
Okay, serving my community in a meaningful way is what motivated me to take this office originally as an appointed clerk. I think that over the years, I've built a lot of skills running 2 businesses, helping many local people in their own businesses, and I'm a people person, and I'm a helper, and I'm a doer, and I always leave things better than the way I found it. And my children both graduated last year, and I reached out and I said, what can I do to be of service? And Jackie took me under her wing and knew that I could take care of this town the way she took care of this town. So I'm honored to do it, and that's why I decided to run for this office.
Thank you. Ms. Brooks?
So, like many of you, I am frustrated with what's going on in the nation and the world, and I want to do something that's going to have a real impact. And for me, that's working here locally with my neighbors in my community, because I think local government is really where we can see policies have real impact. So I'm running here for many reasons. I'm also running because I have worked with people, and those people have worked in the government and the town, and they have approached me and they've asked me to step up to run. I want to help others understand what our town government does, because the more we understand how our town works, the more engaged we can be, and we can have a voice then in what our town does next. My family decided to settle down here, and we have a young son, and I want to make sure that this town is livable and vibrant in the next 20 years for him and us and the rest of our community. I am running because I'm a natural connector. I love to connect people and share resources. I'm a good communicator, and I think that good communication is what our town needs the most right now. I'm also running because I have a background that will help us. I have a background in change management, and I have experience ushering people through periods of transition, providing them with the knowledge and skills to adapt to the changes that are coming. And Woodstock has a lot of changes coming our way, whether we like it or not. We have an aging population, a closing elementary school, a changing climate, a struggling economy, and an unsupportive federal government. So we really need to be prepared for the challenges and the opportunities that are coming our way. And if the clerk's office operates a tight ship, then I think that they can really help the town do just that.
Thank you. So, let's see. You are up again, Ms. Brooks. What are the short-term priorities that you want to address as clerk? And what key problems do you want to solve? So we're looking at short-term.
Well, I do have three main areas that I would focus on if I were elected, and those are to connect, communicate, and modernize. So I really want to proactively connect residents with programs and resources that will help make Woodstock more affordable and more livable. I want to connect in the next year our youth to better and more affordable summer youth programming, because that summer rec program, which is administered by the clerk's office for the last few years, has been struggling and under budgeted. And I have experience in youth programming that I'd like to bring to that to help revive that program and make sure that it serves the community and our families. I also want to connect our office with grant funding. There are New York State grants that will definitely help with digitization projects, and the next one is going to be due next April, so I'd like to start looking at that. But I also want the clerk to look for other sources of revenue for the town. I also want to help with our communication. I want to communicate town updates through multiple channels. I want to see us having an official town newsletter. I want us to be having more in-person community events and town halls. I would like to see us communicating with other forms of media, using video more, broadcasting our town and community meetings on public access and YouTube Live like Shandaken does. And lastly, I want to modernize, and this can also be in the short term because it's 2026 and we currently do not take any credit cards for any transactions in our office, and we've fallen behind other towns in allowing for online payments of taxes and fees. And Shandaken's town clerk, Joyce Grant, who's been there for 14 years, has been trying to get Woodstock to join along and do this transition, but without success. And so I want to pick up from there and move us forward on that. We also need a modern, functioning, and searchable website, and we have a couple of years to make that accessible according to federal standards, and I want to get right on that. And all of these things, I think, really push the boundaries a bit of what a clerk typically does. But I see a wave of clerks in other towns who are really pushing the bounds, and I want Woodstock to catch up and lead the way.
Thank you.
Okay, short-term priorities. I will agree. Online payments, it's a huge thing. We are behind the times, but I have exciting news to report. We've met with 2 systems, Municipay and GovPortal, and talked through how they can support across department payment acceptance. So we found ones that work for one, but not for all. So we just want to make sure we're making the right investment that's going to cover all the bases that we needed to and not make additional work for our department heads. And the other thing to note is that we got great news the other day that the system we currently use, called Systems East, which is through Ulster County, that's our property tax payments, they have a system that can accept online portal payments. So we have a meeting set up with them, hopefully in the next couple weeks, to onboard it for next tax season. So that's a huge win. For summer recreation, that of course is a top priority because it's coming, and we've been working on it since February. And before that, but really laying out some good information and infrastructure around it. We've started with surveys for families, returning families and new families, along with our staff, to get more input from them and see what's working or what we can improve, because there was a town board meeting earlier in the year where, you know, we heard people and we heard that we can do better, and we will. We're fortunate that we're partnering with Family of Woodstock and New York State Education Department to fund free lunch for our campers this year, which is an amazing offering to them and families, and we've heard a lot of positive feedback about that. I think it's important to also talk about accessibility. The website is new. We have one person who is the webmaster. She's very responsive. We've tried to update our clerks page so that you have all the forms, and there's a fillable PDF format for that as well. So we're working on it every single day, and I'm really proud of that.
Thank you.
You're up, Ms. Brooks. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're up, Ms. Reimondo. And I even wrote it down, and I still screwed it up. Okay, this question, what are the long-term problems or issues you want to address? So last was short-term, now we're looking at long-term.
So one of the biggest things that I stepped into was records management. So we have a town that's been around for a very long time, and we have a lot of records. But they're everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but they're in a lot of our town buildings in different areas. They're not really tracked. So one of my first discussions was with New York State Archives. And we have a gentleman that helps support us. His name is Michael Martin. And what they highly recommend at the state level is creating a task force where we partner with Michael, our town historians, Richard and Janine, and they have already been welcomed and they want to be a part of this, and our department heads, where we can create a task force. We've already sent out an inventory to understand what records live where, what they need to read them. Maybe they need a VHS player, maybe they need something to play like reels, we don't know. So that's a huge long-term goal and process, but the board has to be involved in that as well. So the task force's goal, I've asked the supervisor if we can create this, so that's my hope, is to bring everyone to the table, get a sense of what we need, and offer the board solutions so that we can move forward in the clerk's office, probably partnering to get grant money to do that as well, and decide what scope they want. Are we gonna modernize it all? Are we gonna just do marriage, birth, death? Like, there's choices that can be made, but the town board ultimately makes them, but it's my hope to bring that to them, that information, so they can make a decision so we can move forward, so we have documents and all of our records for a long time to come.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
So I see a lot of the things that are in the short term will continue in the long term. I think that one of the challenges and opportunities is to really get the office kind of back up to speed, and I'd like us to focus on that in the short term, and then build upon that. So one thing that I've been seeing in other clerks' offices in the area, and I've reached out to and had detailed conversations with 4 other clerks in the area to learn what their priorities are and what they're doing. And I've mentioned Shandaken's clerk, Joyce Grant, who is really leading the way. She's been the clerk there for 14 years, and she has everything running a tight ship. And one of my favorite things that she told me was that after tax season, she gets bored and she just starts doing things. So she's really gone beyond what clerks have done to connect her community with resources. She's really prioritized seniors. She facilitated computer classes at the Phoenicia Library for seniors. She started a relief fund for people who have experienced catastrophic events. She uses public access for recording town events and is very involved in that. And that's another thing that I've been involved in and that I'd like to help revive is our public access station, which has equipment that is 15 years old and failing, and it's really an outlet that we can utilize. I'd like to get some attention and some funding for the public access station to use it for public education and government purposes. I think that can really be a great outlet to communicate to our town. It's going to take a while and a lot of support to get that going, but I'd love to see that happening as an outlet to communicate with our town better.
Thank you. Ms. Brooks, you're still up because we're alternating. This is our last question before your final statements. So here we go. What skills and relevant experience do you bring to the position, and how would you apply them, particularly to the issues that you've identified need to be updated?
So I bring over 15 years of experience working across several industries, federal government, mission-driven businesses, and arts nonprofits. And I've been responsible for a lot of things that a clerk would do, tracking and reporting our revenue, sales. I'm customer facing, I produce reports and I analyze data, including financial data. And I have experience automating systems and training people on those new systems. And I'd like to bring that to our office and again, help us to modernize the way we do things and be a little bit more efficient. Recently, I've been branching out in some other community initiatives that I think also relate to what a clerk could do. I created the website for Earth Week 2026, earthweekwoodstock.org. I designed promotional materials and I collaborated with the co-organizers to produce the main expo event at the community center in April. I'm demonstrating that I can connect the community with enriching events and resources that way. I also work closely with the town to help produce our March community meeting on the DOT infrastructure project, assisting with the live production of that event at the venue, as well as broadcasting it for public access and on YouTube. I also have committee experience, which is very instrumental in preparing me for this role, but I've also been going to other committee meetings to learn about how the clerk might be helpful in connecting them and helping them communicate with each other and breaking down silos, as well as helping them communicate with the public by enabling them to follow the open meetings law. You know, I'm not in the clerk's office right now, so I have had to do research in other ways to learn about what a clerk does, and I've mentioned that I've spoken at length with other clerks, and I've been endorsed by 2 clerks as well, Joyce Grant and Shandaken, and Kim Daly and Olive, who actually just upset an incumbent on the platform of modernizing the office and doing more from the clerk's office. And I really want to follow their lead and help lead our town in a positive direction.
Thank you. Ms. Reimondo.
So, as you know, I'm already in the office, so I have since September's worth of experience, and that's important. So that's day-to-day operations of the office, and I want to promise you all we're never bored. Michelle and I are never bored. There's plenty of work to do. I have experience with records management prior to this, and working in public meetings and former board experience as well, having 3 years on a board. I have a strong background in customer service and business management because I've run 2 of my own businesses, and I help and support other businesses, both local and around Ulster County and not just in Woodstock. And I think that's important to know that each clerk's office is unique into itself, and there's a lot that we can do, and it's also very important to know what our lanes are so that we're being appropriate in our day-to-day actions. And I think that we can continue to grow this work in clerk's work, but it's important to know that we have the best interest of the public in mind each and every day, so we need to make sure that we're using our skills and our time to do town clerk work and support other departments in doing theirs when and where we can, and also have the support of our town board because we work better when we work together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now it's time for your closing statements, and we're going to begin with you, Ms. Reimondo.
Thank you for being here tonight, for the thoughtful questions, and for your commitment to our town. Throughout this campaign, you've heard about qualifications, priorities, and visions for the future. As you make your decision, I hope you'll consider not only what candidates say they will do, but what they have already demonstrated through their actions. For me, this campaign has never been about politics. It's always been about service. Every day, I come to work with a simple goal: to leave the town clerk's office a little better than I found it, and to make sure every resident feels seen, heard, and respected when they interact with their local government. I believe experience matters. I believe relationships matter. I believe listening matters. And I believe that the best public servants never stop looking for ways to improve. The town's clerk's office is often the front door to local government. It should be welcoming, efficient, transparent, and responsive. This is the standard I have worked to uphold, and it is the standard I will continue to pursue if elected. I am proud of the work Michelle, your second deputy clerk, and I, along with other departments, have accomplished together. But I am even more excited about what is possible when we continue building on that foundation. At its heart, this election is about trust. Trust that when you call, someone will answer. Trust that when you have a question, someone will help. Trust that your local government is working for you. Serving this community has been one of the greatest honors of my life, and I would be grateful for the opportunity to continue that work as your town clerk. I humbly ask for your vote on June 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brooks?
Thank you. So tonight I've been proposing expanding what the clerk's office has traditionally done in the past by connecting us more proactively, communicating better, and modernizing the way we do things in our town. I couldn't list all of my ideas tonight, but I encourage you to go to my website, brooksforclerk.com, and read through a dozen or so very specific and actionable ideas that I plan on implementing for this town. But in closing, I want to stress how important this clerk's race is. Our previous clerk served for 22 years and ran unopposed every time. This year, you get a choice. You know, if you paid close attention to the supervisor's race last year, I think you should be paying as much attention to the clerk's race this year, and here's why. The clerk, like the supervisor and the highway superintendent, are full-time salaried positions. They each make the same amount of money at around $78,000 a year. Compare that to town justices who earn $28,000 a year and town board members who earn $13,000 a year. So they're earning stipends for their time. But the town clerk is full-time and dedicated to the town. This is their day job. They are working with the supervisor and the highway superintendent to make decisions for this town, share resources, and work together to prioritize what the town needs to help it move forward so we can thrive. So I think that we should be asking more out of our clerk's office. Let's have them pursue grants and help find other sources of revenue. Let's have them coordinating programs, push community initiatives forward, and maybe do some of the operational legwork that a lot of our volunteer committees may not have the bandwidth to do. So I want to impress upon you the importance of the clerk here, because this could be the most important decision that you make for the town this year, because it will have lasting effects, maybe even the next 20 years. Woodstockers voted for change last year, and you can continue that momentum by voting for me, because I will work to maximize what this office can do for the town of Woodstock and move us forward. Thank you.